Hi, I'm Anthony Deegan from Deegan's Time Master and Hub 16 in South Street. 100 years this year, yay!
And I'm Sean Sutton from the Bakehouse, South Street. And we're letting on we're in the pub doing a podcast.
Waiting on Sean to buy a round. Again.
How's the new bookshop going, Anthony?
Well, so far so good. Pleasantly surprised. It's a totally new venture for us, so we just didn't know how it was going to be received. So it's going well so far. Learning as we go though, making mistakes. So everyone be patient please. How's things going with yourself?
Going okay, it's the usual. The Christmas rush is starting now. Everybody is probably thinking last minute at the moment, running in, oh God, I didn't get this, God, I didn't get that, whatever. But going back to the bookshop, I wish I was an avid reader and not.
Well, I haven't read a book myself since we opened the thing. I just hadn't had time.
Hopefully in the future, maybe we might put that to bed. I was listening to Matt Cooper last night and he was talking about some of the books that are out there for Christmas. Different people are interviewing them, reviewing them, not interviewing them. And one of them was Lara Marlowe's book about Robert Fisk. Sounds like a really, really good read, but I don't know how many years to take me to read it.
Well, you're after going over my head with that one.
Yeah,
More like reading with me.
I know. But it's just one of those. He was one of those people that kind of travelled through all these countries at war, etc., etc. And when I heard it on about it, I never even knew they were married. But when I heard this thing coming up yesterday, I thought, now maybe that'll have to be got in an audio book. So
well, I have Beano as well. If you're really interested in books.
You have what?
The Beano.
Oh.
The old reliable.
I'd probably be better off with the Beano.
Are you driving around like crazy just whether it's in the van or what's
look, it's busy enough. I mean,
every time I see you, you're zip past.
Yeah, look, sometimes it's nice to get out of the shop. You might have to go for a bag of spuds or go do this or check the bread in Super Value or whatever it is, and you'd be on a kind of a non-mission mission.
I'm kind of hiding myself this weather.
It's good. It's all right. Look, it's up and down. Obviously, everybody and anybody has been affected by COVID. We have ourselves. Not adversely too badly, staff-wise, etc. It's not so bad. But the next week is the week that we don't want anything to come and visit.
Oh, sing that.
This day next week will be right bang in the middle of crazy times. You know.
On the plus side though, people that started shopping local last year have kind of stayed, have seen faces I haven't seen for a while. Yeah. So, you know, once you get them in the door, it's up to yourself to keep them.
Yeah, I know. And look, I suppose maybe there's a lot of reasons maybe why people are sticking around local. You know, the loyalty comes into it, I suppose. They don't want to see certain businesses closing and they'd like to support local. And maybe COVID has made them a little bit more afraid, we'll say, of travelling to the likes of Waterford or places like that. People are always going to go to Waterford. If it's a wet Sunday, you're going to have people going to Waterford. It's a day out. They have kids, they go for a cup of coffee, they'll go for something to eat, they'll do this, do that. And that's just part of it.
We don't have that selection, we just have to have something a little bit different.
We're a satellite of Waterford, whatever way we look at it. And Kilkenny and Wexford are not a million miles away either. So I suppose it's up to us to provide what people want. And so far, I would say myself that we're probably doing that not so bad.
Well, we've had a few people up from Waterford actually shopping, and even Wexford, you know.
There's a lot of people who do come up from Waterford.
For some odd things, yeah.
When you hear the strange accent, we'll say, inside in our place, you'll hear a Waterford accent, say, is that a Waterford accent or whatever it is? And you know, what do you do? Why'd you come up to Ross? You have everything you want in Waterford.
That's very threatening, Sean.
No, but you know, they come in and they say, well, actually, the reason I'm up here today is because I'm looking for a wedding present, and I know that if I go to Brooks's, there's somebody from the family behind the counter, and if they want a bit of advice on something, or they want a little bit of maybe coordination for a room or whatever they're doing, I don't know, whatever, and they are coming to places like this, up to New Ross. When they go into the likes of Margaret O'Hanlon, into Mr. H or whatever boutique, Louise or wherever they go, there's somebody there that's going to advise them. Now, I'm not knocking the bigger places in Waterford either, but they're the ones who are telling us, we don't get that. You know, they don't get that.
It's dying out in the bigger towns, definitely.
You know, they had the secret shopper thing, the town council organised the secret shopper thing, and we got an email back ourselves about that, and I wouldn't say I was overly happy with the result. No, it wasn't bad.
You must have been on.
I don't know, but it wasn't too bad. But at the same time, it could have been better.
But no one likes criticism, but you take it on board.
No, but there's a difference between criticism and constructive criticism. And if anybody, if anybody can take a bit of criticism and find maybe that they're not 100% on everything and try and rectify it, then they have.
I'm fairly thin-skinned, but it gets to you eventually, and you kind of do something about it.
It does, it does.
Beats on you.
But look, in
Try to sort it out.
general, we find, and I find, that there's a great positivity around. And I know people might say, oh, they're on about positivity, but like when you saw the nationwide program the other night on the murals and stuff like that, I mean, Jesus, the town has come on in leaps and bounds. Yeah. Like the lane down beside our place with all the names, the crests and all that. In fairness, we have to be very grateful to the lads inside, whether it's Mick McCormick or Eamon Hoare driving a lot of this.
The last 5 years, Mick McCormick especially,
Eamon as well is very, very, very pro-Ross, and he's responsible for the greenway. He is responsible for the quay down there, the way the quay is at the moment, all that, the walkway and everything. It's fantastic.
I think there's been more done in Ross in the last 5 years than it has in the last 20 years.
Absolutely, maybe even longer.
And even and there's more to come.
And in a year's time, we're going to have that greenway. And personally, I think the Jewel in the Crown is the short one out to Mount Elliot and back into town again.
I totally agree with you. I think the John Street end of it just needs to be tweaked,
and
so it's a full circuit.
People will eventually realise what we have. I don't know that people in Kilmacthomas realise what they had when the greenway opened down there. They probably didn't, but they weren't long about jumping on the bandwagon, and they're getting better and better at it every year. I only went down one day to Kilmac. It was in Waterford for some reason, and we went down to Kilmac for a cup of coffee, and we ended up in the old Flavin's. The last time I was in it, I was loading seed oats 40 years ago.
But because the Greenway is there, you probably wouldn't have been there only for the Greenway.
An absolutely fantastic restaurant and coffee shop in it. There is, and they have a place for kids to play, and they have this and that and the other. And I'm sure there's huge investment gone into it. But at the same time...
Well, it might be a catalyst for getting docks back open.
Exactly.
There's a lot of empty buildings in John Street that just need
a
bit of love.
Dungarvan is mushroomed out of it, We have a lot of stuff going for us in this town. There was one weekend I put a post up on Facebook, and it was a sporty thing, I suppose. You had Tyke Furlong playing in South Africa. You had Sophie Becker running the Olympics. You had Jack Ryan after winning a gold or a silver medal in Villamora on a horse. You had Ronan Gibbon out of the boat club here rowing in Bulgaria in an under-18 competition over there. Mia Griffin was after winning a medal in St. Petersburg in cycling, in indoor cycling, and that was just that weekend alone. If you take what sports people have come out of Ross, say you pick the schools, and I'm not really a huge avid sports person, but if you take the good counsel in the last 20 years, 30 years, you have the Aidan O'Briens, the soccer players, Tyke Furlong, 10 years. Tyke Furlong comes into the rugby club above, and he's just ordinary Tyke Furlong. Play with the 4-year-olds, the 5-year-olds, he'll coach the 15-year-olds, he'll do whatever he's asked to do. An amazing chap. You see Sophie Becker this year promoting New Ross for Christmas. Another brilliant.
She's been all around town, I have to say. I think she's done more running around Ross.
Yeah, she has. But there's past Olympians in the last 30 years. That is of my era. That walked.
Ronan, McDonald,
everything. All these fellas, and. It amazes me when I hear some of the local yokels and they come out and say there's nothing to do in Ross. They should go down and stand at the corner of Spiders. No, but if you go down and stand at the corner of Spiders on the 17th of March and see how many clubs, youth clubs or sports clubs, whatever way you want to put it, that walk down South Street every year, hail, rain or snow, it's if people have that attitude, they need to change it because it's not right.
Just really need to join a club.
No, the rugby club up there this year, Derek Furness is coaching up there the first time. Well, it's his second year really, but it's the first year with COVID. They're top of the Leinster League Division 2 at the moment. Probably not the prettiest of matches that we watched up here in the last while.
Hey, I've done junior B&B time. It's rough.
We have over in the boat club. The other one I'm probably a bit mixed up in. This year, please God, Ronan Gibbon and Amy Barrett. They're both trialing for Ireland at the moment. They will probably make some sort of a squad this year, and we're an Irish one piece again. And their coach Janet Walsh from Rosslare, she's a guard down in Wexford. She has coached an Irish squad in ladies under 18 for the last 4 years. You know, there's all these things going on in town that maybe people don't
But
realise.
even on the recreational side, there's the Blake out there, the fishing,
Yeah.
there's the
Look at the town
marina,
park over
I think the river is probably one of the most unutilised
Yeah.
parts of the town.
Actually,
Yeah.
now that you mentioned that, go back to the river, right?
Go on.
There's a fella, George Benson, came back from Dublin to live in New Ross. He's married to a local girl, and he was a pretty good coach in his time in the 70s. And he got onto the boat club over here and asked, you know, could I have any assistance coaching,
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. So the first morning he was going out with a young crowd over there. I brought him out. I was driving the safety boat, and he sat into the boat. And he looked. It was a nice morning. It was a lovely sunny morning, and he looked around and he said, "You don't realise what you have on your doorstep here."
We're just so familiar with it.
You know,
just,
and that's we
just
only
take it
go
for
as far
granted.
as the Red Bridge or maybe up a bit up the Nore or something like that, and we don't see half of it. You know, but it's only when people like him come back into the town, and they say X, Y, or Z that
It's
you
fresh on
realise
his
what you
eye
have.
and it's new too.
We don't see it because we're looking at it every day, I suppose.
Well, we have the ferry this year as well starting.
Yeah.
Was the Barrow Princess?
The Barrow
is it?
Princess, yeah. I mean, all that stuff is definitely have to bring people in.
Well, even up from water, you know, and then people might just want to do one way on the Greenway. This might be too much for them to do two ways, and once enough. And the novelty factor as well.
Well, there's always, I suppose the novelty factor is going to be a huge thing starting off, isn't it? But that's why I think that the smaller of the greenways, you know, the 5 or 6K, whatever it's going to be, people can do that on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they can do it on a Monday or Tuesday as well if they want to, with a pram or a bike or whatever they want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And like last Stephen's Day was the first time I ever walked the mile tunnel.
In your life?
Yeah, I went in a few times. I'm
Did you
sure
live?
it came back, but no, I never actually walked the whole way.
We used to go in and rub a stick off the wall the whole way to get through, just to make sure you didn't end up coming out the same way you went in. Back in the day.
But Desi Maloney told me when they were young, they used to go in and start stone fights at it in the dark.
There's plenty of ammunition, there anyway.
How you were supposed to survive that one? I suppose if you lay on the ground, you had a better chance of survival. Than
Mannings for bottle of cider on the way back.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Young fella like you.
Me being a staunch pioneer and all that.
Yeah, I'd say that.
You know. But no, I mean, like the whole place is, to me anyway, the whole place is, everything is going definitely.
It's going in the right direction.
Yeah. You know, there
You
will be investment.
go down to Tipperary or Youghal. We're not the worst town in Ireland, you know.
No,
Everyone gives out, give out Ross, but has a
going
lot
to Limerick.
going for it. We don't even have many empty places on the main street anymore.
I was going to Limerick there one day. I was bringing Luke back to college down there I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I used to go through Tipperary nearly every day, going to Shannon one time, and going through it the other day, I couldn't believe the amount of shops that were closed.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And anything that's not closed is either a bookies or a charity shop or something like that. You know, a lot of the indigenous businesses that were there, like draperies and butchers, etc., are all gone. But like, I suppose, look, if you look at butchers, how many butchers were in Ross 20 years ago? Now there's none. Real butcher.
Yeah.
What I would call a traditional butcher. I know we have Butchers Best and Boyles, and they're doing what they do well, what they do.
Well, there was a lot of families of butchers in Ross.
Yeah.
Ronans, Baileys.
Yeah, all those. And unfortunately, I don't know, maybe, look, times change. Maybe in a couple of years' time, in 20 years' time, there'll be no bakeries.
Well,
I
it
don't
seems,
know.
it seems to be switching back though, more artisan-y bakeries, that kind of thing.
It is, but I
Again,
suppose
slowly.
the other side of that then, though, Anthony, is if you're trying to compete with the likes of Lidl or Aldi or Super Value, and you're running your own indigenous type business, it's very
But you can't sell
difficult.
their product, Sean, at the same price as they sell it.
No.
Yeah, do you want to sell their product
No.
anyway, you know, really?
No, you don't. But
You know?
but like everybody is
You
so
don't
price
have
conscious.
200 stores, you know.
No.
it's-
But everybody is so price conscious at the moment. I think. Now, some people tell me I'm wrong. That people are not as price conscious as maybe, like the lads below will call me tight. You know,
It's called running a business.
No, but it's what it really is to me. What it is, you have to be seen to give value for money. You know, if you can sell your books at a value price or whatever you're doing in the other shop, you're going to have repeat business, and repeat business is what it's all about. You know.
Well, that's what I'm finding up there really, is people are coming in and they're asking you to get books. You do your best to source them. You're going to UK, wherever, you're trying all the suppliers. It might take a little while to get the book in, but if you get it in for them, they're simply very grateful. You know, and they're back in, they're looking for another book. It mightn't be one in stock normally, it might be out of print, but you do your best to get it. You know, it's just not a matter of really putting it on the shelf and hoping that it'll sell as well.
No, I mean, yes, I'm
So
sure
it's really a service in a way you're selling.
but you don't
And
know
the same with you know, there's a skill involved in baking.
But you don't know what your market is yet. You know, you don't know whether people want thrillers, whether they want biographies, or whether they want travel
local seems to be the thing
Really?
so far. History and local seems
Yeah.
to be the big things at the minute.
Like even if you look on Facebook and you see what Miles Courtney puts up on Facebook there every day, it's
Oh,
really
Miles is great,
interesting.
yeah.
And most of the time, we don't have a clue about what has gone on. Like I wasn't big into history in school. I don't know.
Once a
if you
generation or
were.
two are gone, it's all forgotten really. Some like some Miles, I suppose, to dig it up and re-expose us to it.
Have you ever done a tour of the town?
With Miles,
Yeah,
no.
neither have I. And I'm doing it for the last 15 years, but I never did it yet. So
Well,
I probably
it took me a while to do
each
that,
year.
Brody. When it's on your doorstep,
Yeah,
you kind of don't do
yeah.
it, really.
Because like lockdown was great, you know. I walked around Carryburn Hill for the first time. It's on the way to Wexford. You pass it how many times in the last 50 years, you know. And I was never inside the gate of it. And then say one day, come on, we'll go down there. Or I was only in Tintern Abbey for the first time 4 or 5 years ago.
No, I have to say,
Yeah.
that's
But
one of the great places around.
But
South
when you
Wexford
see
now,
what you
Tintern.
have, you know, the St. Mullins, the Tintern.
When you have the English cousins home and you're bringing them on a tour, is the time you kind of visit these places and you go, oh, it's actually good here.
I know, but the only thing is about the English cousins, we're going to have to wait another while. They're a bit of bother.
That's true. Yeah.
We can't get
A little bit
them home.
COVID-y.
Yeah, well, you know. But there is though. I mean, there's so much on your doorstep, and again, that's why I can't understand these people who tell you there's nothing in Ross.
Well, as Christy
You know.
Moore says, we go there and they come here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things, I suppose. I don't know.
But during lockdown, you were kind of driven to the more local places, really, and that kind of
Oh yeah, you didn't have any choice. But like there was, I remember.
Tintern, as you said before, really
Yeah.
opened my eyes. It's
But
really
sure, even over the
really
road
good down
from
there.
us, we were out one day. We went for a walk one day. We said we go down around the ponds, and I was walking down. Do you know where Dick Bailey's house is?
Yeah,
and all
down,
those.
McMurrough, yeah.
Down there in Macmorrough, and we went off down to the left. I never walked down that road in my life,
Did you not?
ever.
Did you go down as far as the bridge?
Went over the bridge and went off up along, and here's there a house up there with a big wall garden around it.
Kind of peters out into a dead end,
Yeah,
alright.
it does, yeah. But when you look out over the field down to the dead end, you're down at the ferry bridge.
Yeah, see, that
You
was
know.
one of the main ways into town
Yeah,
back in the
there
days.
was. Yeah,
anyway.
there was a roadway there, but I had
McMurrough seemingly used to
I
raid
had
the
Marco
town from down there.
Polo's sister and wife with me, and they were so much into discovering what was down there. They wouldn't get into the field and go down and look because there was a cow in it. So we
Cow?
didn't go down. We had to go back.
Farmer with the shotgun.
You know,
The cow with the least stories, I'd say.
they wouldn't want to be waiting for the word to be discovered with Jane and Fiona because if there's a cow around, that's going to be a problem.
We could have come back to Longway, went to O'Brien's.
Yeah, could have, except they weren't open. Yeah.
God.
No, but it is queer though that the fact that you passed by that road so many times and never went down there. You know?
Well,
And there was years ago we used to be messing around down the ponds on horses, and we went down what they called the Green Road. So the other side of that, and went down along down there. But I actually never went down that road, and we never went as far as the bridge.
you'll be doing the Rocky Road next.
That's blocked off now.
Is it? Can't get up anymore.
No,
No shortcuts.
no, all that's kind of changed down there. But yeah, sure. Look, that's the way things go, you know. That's the way things go. But in saying all that, I mean, the town. If you go back to New Ross itself, and the town and the businesses, I suppose that we're involved in. You know, I suppose COVID probably wasn't as bad for us as it was for some of the shops. Like you were deemed essential, you could open. People were fed up. They were probably eating a bit more cake and buns and stuff like that than
Just
they were
looking for somewhere to
before.
go.
And
Something to do.
yeah, and if any place was open for a cup of coffee or something like that, you know, the amount of people that you saw sitting down on the boardwalk in the rain drinking coffee.
But
You know, because
the
they
outdoor
could.
is still being used. I was really surprised. Just even coming over to town today, you
Yeah.
know, if people want to smoke or whatever. But even just some people are a bit nervous, maybe going in still, or might have issues.
To look-
They'll sit outside. You know.
I don't
I'm
know about you,
surprised.
but I was kind of looking at the bit of outdoor there outside McDowell's and those places now. Initially, and I was kind of saying another 3 parking spaces gone, and
Yeah,
another this,
kinda,
and another that.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of time to get used to it.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the elephant in the room that they all talk about at times is the pedestrianisation of South Street. I probably wouldn't be as in favour of that.
Well, having said that, you know, it happened it was last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was kind of going, oh God, going to press releases now, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be business wise. You know, I thought it would affect business, but it didn't. But I'd hate to see it going ahead fully without a trial period.
And you see, I don't know whether,
because it happened before the traffic flow. Remember, they put it on the pats and everything, and then the pats were kind of left there.
in October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and probably half of May, Monday and Tuesday mornings mightn't be great downtown, and the people that are, the footfall that are on the town are driving in, parking and stuff like that, and you're not going to have people sitting out. You might have one or two, but there was other times down there when South Street was cordoned off for whatever reason during COVID or beforehand, and there was feckin' nobody around. You know, it's fine on it. If we had the weather, it'd be great, but we don't have the weather. And I don't mean to be negative about it. Everything, I suppose, needs. But there's probably other streets in town that maybe when you come over the bridge, if it was done. We were in Cork there in July, and McCurtain Street. Everyone knows about McCurtain Street in Cork and the way they did it. They did it really, really well. They did it absolutely brilliant, and everything is. All these umbrellas are all down. They're fixed. It's permanent and
they all look the same.
But when you walk down the street and you look over there, you're kind of saying, now we can go somewhere and have something to eat. Like we went down one Sunday morning, we didn't bother with having breakfast in the hotel, so we went off over town and we sat outside this place and had breakfast in it. You know, it wasn't 25 degrees or anything like that, but it was still different, it was still nice, it was still pleasant. Do you know what I mean? There was people walking around and that kind of thing. Like for me, I think Quay Street, you come over the bridge, you see all that, the greenway is open, people are walking in and around, it makes a focal point
I'd
in
agree
the
with
centre
you.
of the town.
I'd agree
And
with
it's
your
not
point. It depends on the businesses there.
Yeah,
Do they
but
want
you
it or
see-
not either?
Yeah,
you know?
but you see, a lot of those businesses might change. There's a couple of shops on that street, and they might change.
But it
what
ties
they're
in
doing.
nicely with Post Office Lane.
Yeah, but it would make a focal point of there without upsetting the whole traffic flow of the town. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not an essential artery to get around town.
It's hard to know. They just need to try everything first. Try it really first, because you know yourself, when traffic flow starts, then you start to see the problems. Remember the tonsil before there?
Yeah, but sure. I mean, how many meetings did you go to over the years where we wanted to put a roundabout at the end of the bridge at Dan Cadmus?
Couldn't
and
be done.
certain engineers were telling
Couldn't
us
be
that
done.
that could not be done, and it wouldn't
Impossible.
work, and it wouldn't this and it wouldn't that.
Yeah.
And what did they do in
They'd
the
have
end?
to build out into the river to put a fried egg in the middle of the road and
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Like, it was totally stupid to just dismiss the whole thing. And all they wanted to do was spill a can of paint and people drive around it.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is the 3 roundabouts we wanted for years. Now they're there.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah. And you know, the funny thing, when the bypass opened, you'd sail down the North Quay, down to Downcavan and drive across. Now you feckin' have to stop and wait for 2 minutes or 3 minutes because the bridge seems to be, I won't say as busy, and it's obviously not HGVs, but car-wise. I mean, the very minute that bridge opened, we saw a huge upturn in business from Glenmore.
When they go to close the bridge now to do the repairs on it,
It'll give you a fair idea of what it was. But like the amount of people that started to come in from Glenmore, Tulliver, Lister Lane,
because they
all
can get
that
in.
area because they could.
Yeah.
You know, even from Shamble.
But Ross was a no-go area after 4 o'clock really to come
I
over.
remember one time we used to have to go to Waterford every evening with buns and cakes for a crowd down in Paddy Brown's Road, and it was an absolute nightmare because you just knew you were going to get stuck, and then you'd be giving out about the people going around and up by Bemico, and you know, because they were slowing the whole flow thing, and eventually we started doing it ourselves because you had no choice.
Well, even in Waterford now on the quays, totally, you know, it's really, really slow.
Yeah,
it's great for us.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah.
You know?
But sure, I used to be going to Waterford in the mornings, and you come down through Ferrybank, and you'd sit down looking at the roundabout, you know, and all the cars sneaking across. And I was up in McDonald's one day and just said it to Michael Burke, and he said to me, "Why do you come in that way?" And he said it. I said, "Why? What's the other way?" He said, "Come in through Sally Park. You've right away onto the roundabout."
Yeah.
And it's constantly flowing. End of problem. You know? Small little thing, just change the way you're going in.
Yeah, it's good to see you selling a bit in Waterford. You're exporting to Waterford.
Yeah. we have to do customs in Glenmore. No, but
Be a toll next.
Things are, I suppose. Look, we're all still going.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised about the bridge. You know, I thought it might be bad for business in town, but in the end, you know, the new bridge it didn't really.
I think
it helped.
most.
Yeah, it did help.
I think most towns.
I'll have to eat my words on that one.
I think everybody probably did. And look, there's a fear factor involved in all this, and we're all
change,
afraid. Like, we all have a few bob borrowed here and there. We're all employing people. You know, you don't want to see any of your staff going. You don't want to. If you had to let off somebody in the morning, it's a bloody hard decision.
It's the hardest thing to do, yeah.
Who are you going to get rid of, or who nobody wants to go, and funnily enough, the ones who are really good, and they're the ones, one, that want to work, and two, that you don't want to lose. We're very lucky below, the staff we have below. We really are lucky. They're very good, and they're loyal. I'm sure you have the same.
Yeah.
I think most
they're there
most
for
people
years,
in town are the same.
years, yeah.
You go down to Super Value down there, and I'm only picking those off the top of my head. It's near enough the same staff as there.
Same lads, go down.
Tommy is there
Give out
way too long. Can't understand how they haven't got rid of him, because he's kind of half useless anyway. But no, but
And a Kilkenny man.
So yeah.
And a jeer.
No, but you have all those staff that are down there, and they're there quite a while. And,
Well, the town really needs Super Value. It's the anchor at the minute, really.
It does. It does.
In the downtown area.
It must be very, very hard to compete with the Allies and Lidls. Really, really hard to compete.
But in the end, they have a butcher's counter and things like that. It differentiates them.
It does, I suppose, yeah. And in fairness to them, in fairness to Musgraves, never mind, it's just Malloy's down there. Their product, meat-wise and stuff like that, it's very good. You don't get bad meat in it. We would do most of our shopping down there just for convenience. And Fiona's not one of these people who goes out and does her weekly shopping every Saturday or whatever it is. It's kind of, I suppose, all the ladies in the town, they're kind of saying, I have to make up my mind what I want for dinner this evening. I just don't know what we want.
It's very sexist now, Sean. Ladies
I know that.
and gentlemen.
No, but seriously though, you hear all this going on in certain households. I hate trying to figure out.
I usually just get a text message from herself going, get such and such in the. I just want to go straight home now if I go to the Super Value.
Yeah, well, at least she's telling you what to get.
You're in town
Not
anyway.
saying pick up something or get something. And you're kind of saying, what the hell are we going to get for this? No, but sure, look, I don't know. Please God, in 3 or 4 months' time, this COVID thing will be maybe after dying down another bit, and we might.
So we said last year.
Yeah, so
we'll see.
But sure, look, imagine when it happened in March, whatever it was, and people were saying this could last for 3 months or 2 months.
And it's a holiday.
Yeah, and here we were saying, myself and Fiona were saying, sure, we'll hang out till September and we'll go on holidays in September.
Will the PVC ever come down from the counter?
Yeah.
The acrylic screens.
Yeah, the stuff.
Will they be still there 10 years from now? We'll just be so used to looking at them.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the day that can come down.
Yeah, the day will come. It's just, look, whenever it is, we're a day closer to the end than we were yesterday. But when is it going to be? That's the strange part. When is it going to be? I don't know. But it will come. It will come.
I want to sit at the bar again.
Yeah. One of the hardest things for me to get used to was being in on a Saturday night and looking at stuff on the telly that you'd no interest in. Dancing with the Stars, Dancing on Ice, Dancing on this, and I was dancing on the cushion saying.
Well, at least I can drink a large bottle of Smithick's off the shelf at home.
I don't drink at home. I have no interest whatsoever. And if I was down in the tavern, I'd be like an octopus.
That's because you have no one to cheer.
No, but you mean, look, it's just. I think it's just to get out for the chat part.
Yeah, meeting strangers, meeting strangers and locals and people you wouldn't normally talk to, really. That's my father's the same. I have to bring him out. He has to sit there and hold court, and people come over and say hello to him. And
what age is he? 82 or 3, is he?
84 now.
And he still wants to go out for a bottle.
Well, he's mad to go out for a bottle.
Yeah,
but he wouldn't drink. Same as yourself, he wouldn't drink at home. But he just wants to sit somewhere where he can. People will notice him, really, I suppose.
Yeah, but
he can jeer him.
But even if someone comes in and says hello, John, or
he's happy as Larry then for
there's
night.
That fecker.
But to talk to 5 or 6 people, he's happy. Yeah.
You think of all the nights that he spent up in John Street, and he's throwing out bags of shit for the ride.
I think he spent more than Frank Dalton's pub now, a bit higher up.
Yeah, but
Gladney's and Leo's and all the old Galvins.
He probably had worse hangovers the next day or headaches than the lads coming out of the ride having to listen to all the crap.
I think he used to go over to the bouncers and go, lads, he's busy tonight. It's not too bad, John. Yeah. We close, so go to the pub.
Yeah. Well, if the cap
he had his priorities right, anyway.
If the cap fits, if the cap fits. I don't know.
Different times.
How times have changed.
I think half the town got married out of the Ride Hotel, I think.
Yeah. One way or another. Yeah, love stories begin, huh? Jesus Christ.
Or the Viking. Our place here, Jesus, was the Viking.
Yeah.
There was another...
Queuing up at the door, somebody's 21st was on. Wendy had come in and said, "Where's your invitation?" I must have lost it.
Where was your ID?
No, there was no ID.
No ID then, yeah.
It was just your invitation. So we didn't have any invitations for anything. You know,
Just
didn't even know whose party it was. Just
an extra
try and
hour
get
drinking.
in, you know, try and get in.
An extra hour's drinking.
Wonder what it'll be like in 20 years' time.
God, it's hard to know.
Imagine you'll be 82 sitting here in 20 years' time when the lads are doing their next
Feck off.
podcast for
If I'm alive in 20 years' time, I'll be happy.
What?
If I'm alive in 20 years' time, I'll be happy.
You'll be alive, alright. It's hard to get rid of bad jokes like you.
Will the mortgage be gone by then? God, it's hard to know.
Of course it will. Of course it will. Of course it will. It's amazing, really. I suppose you don't want to think about it. If you think back 30 years ago, it's like yesterday.
Well, Sean, if you thought back, you would not start the business because all the hoops you have to jump through nowadays, and legislation and people you have to deal with, things you have to deal with. You just, if you knew it was all in front of you, you wouldn't start.
No.
So you just have to grow into it and learn as you go.
Then it's again at the same time, if you're up on a wall and you don't know whether to jump or not, if you don't jump, you don't know whether you land on your feet or your arse or break an arm or whatever. So you jump anyway and take your chances.
Probably land on
and
your
I
arse
think that's
and
the way
straight
it
home
is.
again.
Yeah, but that's the way it is. You get a knock, you get up and you go again. That's the way life is, I suppose. You know, very philosophical way of looking at things. But that's
well, I think that's business anyway. It's just every day is a new obstacle. You just try to get around or over.
Or the seat of your pants the whole time. Yeah. I suppose. Look, there is certain challenges that we didn't have before. Manpower is a major one at the moment. I don't know about you, but we could probably do with 1 or 2 staff down there, but they would need to be skilled in that department down there, and they are just
it's a bit more difficult in that.
They're non-existent. It's the same. Talking to Emmett Hall about Manions, he has the same crack with chefs and everybody else, and you know, certainly chefs is very, very hard, really hard.
Yeah, and then they can let you down on a whim, and you're all at sea.
They're not. No, like I said, up to now we've been very good. You know, the lad Luke, the baker down there, he's there. I think he's probably going into his 16th year down there now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's there that long. Yeah, Mary is there probably way too long.
Oh, Mary, she's now another jeer.
Yeah,
a shop full of jeers.
Yeah, it's terrible. You have no idea the pressure I'm under down there every day, every minute of the day.
Well, I know I'm last in command up in our place anyway.
Snap. Surrounded by women.
Oh God.
Can't win.
Blessed am I amongst women, up there anyway.
Doesn't work. But look, we'll be grand. We'll keep going. As long as we can stay healthy, we'll be fine. Happy and healthy, that's what we need to be.
Well, healthy up to Christmas Eve at 6 o'clock anyway, so far.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And even this year we might be able to go for a pint. Maybe. You never know. We might still be able to go for a pint.
Here's hoping anyway. I live in hope.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Here's hoping.
And we worry about the new year when it's the new year.
Yeah, well sure, look. We're after having a good few of them coming at us now, so as long as we can keep them coming at us at this stage now, we'll be okay.
40 years time you'll be able to tell the great grandchildren, I lived through the COVID times, you don't know hardship.
Yeah.
Be like the famine.
Last time it was the Spanish flu and the famine, this time it was COVID.
Sure, we can dress it up a little, make it a bit worse anyway than it is still.
Yeah.